All right. Third time we've done this. We've done kickoff for 41, kickoff for 42. Got to keep the tradition going, bringing the Survivor YouTubers together once again. I guess it's not annual. I guess it's what, biannual,
Biannual.
semi-annual, biannual. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have the Survivor specialist this year, so we have a tighter, a small cast this year, one tribe cast. We got Coach Drew, who just did his 42 seasons and 42 days here on the channel. Drew, thanks for joining. As always, my co-host Gideon. We got Peridiam from the channel Peridiam, and Luke from the channel Idled Out. So, guys, thanks again for joining once again. Hopefully, we can keep doing this till our last days on this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty dark, but all right, cool.
It's a little grim.
I was gonna bring up. I didn't do this at the season 42 kickoff, but I should have. I wrote down who everybody's season 42 winner picks were when we did the season 42 kickoff. No one got Marianne. I think we at some point all said Marianne was one of the ones we were like super excited to see, but I don't think anybody had her as a winner pick. Drew, Gideon, and Alexa all had Chanel.
Yikes.
Riley, aka Snuffed, had Tori. Me and Phil had Mike. Luke had Lindsay. Yes. Yeah. Yep. As everyone. Oh, and Peridiam had Mike as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Y'all were pretty close with Mike. I mean, that's not terrible.
So three Mikes and 3 Chanels.
I think I picked.
It came home either way, so it's fine.
That's right. I think I picked Chanel. I think, honestly, it's weird logic, but I think I was just coming off the Chantel high, and I was like, Chantel, Chanel, why not? Let's go for it. So
similar names, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mike described himself as like, didn't he say it was like Tony and Ty combined or something? And I was like, yeah, I would love to see that. I feel like that could win. Or at very least, he's going to live up to getting to the final. He got second. Ty got third. Tony got first. Mike got second.
There you go.
Do you think he was right?
Tony and Ty, so.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he did have maybe I don't know, he was his own unique thing.
Yeah, but I feel like he wasn't as self-aware as Tony. Like, Tony realized that he was lying and all this. Mike Turner didn't.
Right,
Ty,
huge difference.
Was able to accept that. Oh, Ty, was backstabbing a lot of people and didn't realize that he was going to be perceived that way. Similar to how Mike got to the end and didn't realize that he was perceived as a backstabber. So I'd say,
yeah.
Bars. Yeah. So just under an hour away from the season 43 premiere, but now that we've had June, July, August, I guess 3.5, 4 months to kind of decompress from Survivor 42. Maybe we could snake through what are you guys final thoughts? I know we had some immediate thoughts, but now that you've had a chance to decompress, analyze the season a bit, thoughts on the season as a whole, and also as Marianne as a winner, where do you think you would place her amongst winners? Drew, do you want to go first?
Well, Adam, as you know and have mentioned, I just did my 42 seasons and 42 days. I finished a week ago today, actually. And rewatching 42 after rewatching 41, I enjoyed 41 for what it was. I understood there was a lot of editing problems. It's been 20 minutes talking about advantages. We didn't really know much about what was going on. And I feel like 42 fixed every single problem that 41 had, or they at least did it better than what 41 did. As far as the Hourglass Twist, they didn't split it up into 2 episodes. They kept it at 1 episode because everyone is going to break it no matter what. It's kind of silly to leave that on a cliffhanger. We'll leave it alone. I feel like the editing of the winner was more even this time around than in season 41. I feel like the the Beware advantage at the merge version of it with the paint was done better than the first time around. And Do or Die didn't screw anyone. So for 42 on this time around, hold on, let me just pull up my list.
Break the list out, Drew.
I must. 42, I now have ranked as my 12th favorite season of all time. And I think that, and I have it right above Tocantins and right below Cook Islands. I really love this cast. I really love that they, they threw all these advantages, but they didn't hinder the game. Similar to David versus Goliath, where there were all these advantages there, but you never felt like it was hindering, what was going on in the game. And in fact, it forced the Goliath's hands and at the merge because all these advantages are getting played. So now the Goliaths have to play more fluid. So I love 42. I love Marianne as a winner. The video has been put on this show, a couple times of me crying as she wins. I love Marianne, and I am excited to see what happens with 43.
Wait, you cried when she won?
Yes, Adam. I cried when she won.
That's sweet.
Oh.
I don't know if I've ever cried for a winner, but maybe BB24. We'll see.
I cried for Chris.
Wait, which one?
Such Underwood, such a comeback,
Oh, okay.
such an odyssey he went through, man. It's like I was there with him at the edge. It was like
And it was well earned.
It felt like I won when he won.
Well,
okay?
with the
Luke,
zoom ins
comment?
on their face, you saw every pore. I was really close to him at times.
The people's champion, Chris Underwood.
It wouldn't be a podcast without bashing on Chris Underwood. He just takes strays from out
I
of
found
left
a
field.
new appreciation for Chris Underwood.
Yeah,
he did what he had to do.
Only took 7 minutes to get to the Chris Laner. But Luke, what do you think now that you've had a chance to decompress season 42 a bit? You have liked it more, liked it less?
Yeah, I agree with Drew. Like, I think they took a lot of the criticisms of 41 to heart, especially, they didn't have the fan reaction, so they really only had like what the players were able to tell them. So, shout out to Danny for fixing that hourglass, as well as he could. But yeah, I think they took a lot of the things that weren't working in 41. They kind of massaged them. In 43, the things that really weren't working are mostly gone. So, I just want to shout out to Survivor. Like, they obviously tried new things in 41 and 42. Some of them worked, a lot of them didn't. And, to their credit, they are listening to the fans and the players up to a certain point. So, that is something I really loved about 42. And then Marianne as a winner, I love that she was very unconventional winner. Like, we saw a lot of, if you watch like the first 2 or 3 episodes, you might think that she's going to be more of like a Kathy-esque growth edit. So I liked that they kind of played with their editing conventions of how they present a winner. Makes the show more entertaining for people like us who've, seen every season 1,000 times and have dissected the edits. So, I just think it was a really good season, and I think it's going to age super well in the fan community.
Yeah, I noticed. I don't know if you guys felt this, those of you that watch Australian Survivor, but like obviously with some of the editing stuff, like the sort of slow motion and shots, especially for challenges and like trying to make the challenges seem a little bit more epic, even if they're just tossing a ball into a cup or something like that. It seems like they drew a lot of inspiration from Australia as far as like the editing style. And like one thing I've noticed, I haven't seen every Australian season, but one thing I noticed is they really try to hide, in my opinion, the winner. Like I feel like even coming into the finale, it could be multiple people's game just about every time. Whereas like I feel like most people came into this finale thinking it's probably going to be Marianne. I think they tried it more. I think they overdid it a little bit with Erica. Like I feel like they really tried to hide the winner too much. But I agree. I did kind of like the unconventional winner edit that Marianne got. I definitely wouldn't complain if they continue that trend. But what'd you think, Peridiam, looking back on 42?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it overall more than 41. 41 was sort of a weird adjustment. I think starting a new era of the show, really, like even in label, they were going to call it that. And it was very noticeable how much of a new era Survivor was entering, and it felt tighter. It felt like they were throwing a lot of different power ups or whatever you want to call them, all these advantages, which to be fair was a lot in Winners at War as well. But 42 felt like they. I mean, I play a lot of games. It felt like they were patching the season to make it a little more balanced and a little bit more fair and a little bit less like, as Danny would say, it was just insane that you just lied to our faces. And then Jeff's like, all right, here, we're going to give you the heads up about this game-breaking twist. And you will know that there is now a power, and do you want to just leave that up to fate? They didn't know that on 41. I did like that. I think that even though I didn't like the Hourglass Twist, I like the mentality of fixing what might be, in that case, broken. I think that's a very important, like, I will also say, having just finished watching the latest season of The Challenge USA, I have an immense amount of respect for Jeff and also the production crew of Survivor for keeping the game about as fair as they can and also rather polished. I don't oftentimes ever criticize the producers for feeling like the game is unfair or poorly run. I oftentimes have issues with the balancing with some of the twists, or maybe there's too many of them, but I never really feel, maybe they do a great job editing it out like they did with the Omer's Idol Nullifier or whatever. But yeah, I liked 42 a lot. I didn't have it in my top 10, but I know a lot of people do. I do have it in my top, I think I ranked it around 15th or so, which is still really high for a season considering there's 42. And I didn't want recency bias to affect me too much because I really did enjoy it. I really enjoyed Marianne. I think she's arguably probably top 5 at least for most unique winners we've ever seen on the show. I don't think we're going to get somebody like Marianne with that much character and life in her and just spirit, especially after 26 days of starvation. Like, she was bouncing off the walls and it was incredible. I listened to her 5-6 hour postseason deep dive, and it's like literally 0 points in the podcast is it like not dragging. Like, she's so entertaining and so interesting, and she's got so much insight into all kinds of stuff. It's all over and I'm like, this is kind of what I would love in any given player, but like, not only that, we had it in the winner, and like how she won, like the final 6 with the Omer vote, and she votes him out because she recognizes he is the biggest threat, and this might be the only shot she gets. And like, that's kind of what you want in your winner. That's what you want in your end game. I really liked it across the board. Was it perfect? No, but at the end of the day, I'll take what I can get, and I got a lot. So I'm happy with 42. I'm hoping the direction with 43 is even better. You know, I don't think we're going to have Marianne on this cast, but maybe she'll come back in the next returning season, and I'll be happy with that. So, yes, like 42, like Marianne as a winner, and hopefully 43 gives us more of the same. More 42 than some of 41, but more 42.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I think I had it in my season rankings around like 14, 15, 16 or somewhere around there. But I could also see this being a season that grows on me even more over time. I feel like you almost don't appreciate seasons as much until like another bad season comes along. Like, I feel like Heroes and Villains stood out super quick because it was followed by like Nicaragua and Redemption Island. But so I could see this being in my top 10 at some point in the future. But
I think
Luke,
you had it ranked at number 11, Adam. I'm looking at the rankings.
Oh, really?
I have them. Yeah,
Okay.
you and Gideon had it a little bit lower, and I was around the same place.
Okay. Do you know
TNT had it bottom 5? The nullified
Really?
take.
There you go.
So that's a hot take.
That is
I'm
a
looking
spicy
at it.
take.
Unless it's a typo. I don't think it's a typo.
Where did Luke have it on there?
Luke had it, I think, top 8.
I think,
maybe?
yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
had it
Looking at it
definitely in
right
my top 10.
Yeah, it's definitely in your top 10. I think you had it at number 8 or 7.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
love the season, especially coming off 41, which I enjoyed, but it wasn't quite the return I was hoping for the show after, a year and a half or 2 years off the air. 42 was just, I mean, such a great surprise for me, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a roller coaster season. Would you guys consider Marianne as like a comeback winner or like a come from behind winner, or was she just kind of like a low key winner?
Low
Oh,
key.
get in. You're muted.
Comeback implies that, at least for me, I never felt like she was truly on the bottom. Like people say that she's on the bottom, on her OG tribe, and even at the merge when they did like the Cool Kids Alliance minus everyone else. But the votes were never really going that way. It never felt like Marianne was any real danger. And especially as the end game starts to come up, and she's still not ever in any type of real danger. So I don't think it's a comeback story. I think it's more of just play it cool, let Jonathan, do his thing pre-merge, let these big targets go after each other at the merge, so I can sit back and read the room and see who the real target is. And like Peridiam said, that's Omer. I don't know if it's Peridiam or Luke. I'm sorry. And take him out where he does, and make sure that everyone knows that it was me that did this. And all props to Omer for even saying, "Did you do that?" And she basically said, "Yeah, it was me. It was me." The idol at Final Tribal, I think someone else has tried that once, and it was. I think like everyone knew that Xander had the idol at 41 and didn't care, but Marianne keeping the secret. I know this is going to be a hot take. I compare it to Ben. Ben was the only one keeping secrets in his on his cast during HHH, and people kept getting caught with their pants down. Marianne is the only one that kept the secret in 42, and she's the one that wins. So I know that that's going to piss off a lot of people that I compared the two of them, but it's true. If you can keep your fucking mouth shut, then you should be fine.
I would say like Marianne was somewhat on the bottom, but I don't know if it felt like a come from behind because Survivor 42's merge was, it wasn't as simple as the dividing line of like there was a majority alliance who did pick off Chanel. They did sort of pick off Tori. They had a boot list that they were going to pick off the outsiders, and Marianne was so ingrained with the power players like Omer and Lindsay and Jonathan that she wasn't really, she was going to be safe for last at worst. But I think that because there were so many heavy hitters in that majority alliance, that she was not really going to be. I never really felt like she was ever in danger of going, really, if I remember correctly. And yeah, so I don't really feel like it was an underdog victory as much as it was just she did lay low, and she just struck at the right time. And that's a little bit kind of similar to how Erica did it too. I would say Erica was more of a target than Marianne, was a little bit more on the outs than Marianne in that majority, but they both struck when the iron was hot at the right time, brought the right people to the end, convinced the right people to make the wrong moves for their game. And yeah, so maybe not an underdog victory, but she does have elements of that in her story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were both up against people, they peaked late, which is what you want to do in Survivor versus peaking early. Like by the end, like Mike and Romeo peaked very early. I mean, arguably like pre-merge. And
Shannon Ricard as well, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and Marianne just, I mean, she did exactly what she had to do. I think the only time she ever might have been in like serious danger is if Taku lost like again after Mariah goes home. Like if they lose that next tribal council, I think she's in trouble. But after that, I mean, she just worked her social connections. She got in good with Omer. She got in good with all the power players. And then, yeah, like Peridiam said, just struck at the exact perfect time at a time when other people wanted to play it safe. She wanted to make the big move, and knowing that the people she was going to go to the end with were people who just like peaked super early.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Omer was definitely I don't even know when he really peaked per se. Maybe it was the Drea boot, I guess. But I was also say he kind of got a little bit sloppy, and that's what kind of caused his downfall, if anything. So I don't really know. But yeah, it helps to be like the second in command to like the biggest power player of the season, and then take them out at the last second if you can.
Yeah, Omer got not screwed, not how Reddit uses the word screwed. What happened with Omer, in my opinion, is the fact that, yeah, like you said, when Drea left, she threw everyone under the bus, or at least exposed everyone's games, and just kind of said, hey, this is what everyone is doing at Final Six. Y'all deal with the consequences. And Marianne latched onto that and said, Omer's the threat. Let's do this. Now, whether she was already perceiving Omer's the threat, we don't really see much of that before the Drea vote out. But I do feel like Drea and the way she went out and the way she was saying she had a thing for everyone as she left, I think that really helped Marianne's game, because now at this point, everyone on the jury has seen that Drea has said Omer's playing like this. Marianne is saying this too. Right. So all Marianne has to do is get rid of the person that the jury now perceives as the biggest threat, which she does.
I mean, she had said postseason her plan was to go to the end with Omer, I think at around that point, and I think it was the Drea vote out. That was the catalyst for her waking up and realizing, okay, hold on, Omer isn't actually as close as I thought he was to me. He's hiding secrets. I don't think I'm his number one anymore. I might be the GOAT that he wants to take to the end. I have to change things up. It just all of it came together. It was the perfect storm with Mike and Jonathan and Marianne and then Romeo was the extra vote that they needed as well, or Marianne took advantage of. It was just the perfect storm against Omer in some cases, and the perfect storm for Marianne.
Yeah. Gideon, is your mic working? Are you able to?
Is it working?
There we
now?
go. Yeah,
Let's go. Yeah.
Well, before we start talking about 43, you got any last minute thoughts on 42?
Oh goodness, yeah.
I know it's your favorite of all time now, right?
42.
Yeah, that and Gabon, top two.
It was. 42 is pretty darn good. I mean, like I said, like some of y'all, I was worried about, like, when we were asked to rank the seasons in that project, I was worried if I was going to let, like, because it was the most recent season, affect it, and the fact that 41 was before it. Nothing against 41, but that definitely heightens 42 a little more, having it come off a not so great season. But I really do think it was great, and I really do think a lot of players will return from it. I think, and also I agree with what y'all were saying. Marianne was a great winner with great timing. She timed it perfectly there at the end on when to take over, and it was pretty close to a perfect textbook game of Survivor there, just managing your threat level in terms of doing that. So yeah, I was very pleased with it, and I hardly even noticed that it was 26 days.
Yeah,
which is
almost like it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I mean, does anybody here care that it's gonna stay 26 days? I don't think anybody does.
I feel like we'll get less shots of like camp life and like fun stuff at camp, which I do enjoy, but like overall, I don't think it's gonna affect. Like, I'm not gonna look at winners any differently. I'm not gonna like put an asterisk next to their name or anything like that. But
yeah,
I feel like after 10 seasons, we're gonna be like, oh shoot, it's 26 days, isn't it? Like I
think the only thing that keeps me from like fully loving it is that it's just change is weird sometimes, and I like to hold on to 40 seasons of what it's been, and then I'm like, I'm trying to mentally adjust to the fact that it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I knew about this even before season 41. I'd heard of the rumor, and I was like, if this happens, we're going to have this probably indefinitely. I don't know why they would make it 39 again, and they're not. Jeff straight up said it now, like the cat's out of the bag. It's probably not happening again. So it's like, okay, yeah, I don't think it's too big of a deal, really. I don't think it's probably a big deal at all. But I can understand a lot of people having some like, oh, it's been this way for 40 seasons. It would be nice if it stayed that way. But then, I mean, there's so much that's changed in Survivor for 40 seasons, and it's like, I don't know. It's really not that big of a deal at the end of the day.
And I think the fact that 42 was so universally loved by pretty much everybody, and that was a 26-day season, I feel like that, to me, that should be enough to not have to worry about the 39 days. But what were we saying, Drew? Sorry.
Well, I'm not doing this on purpose. It's just because it's so fresh. Doing the 42 and 42, everyone likes to talk about, 39 days, whatever. Everyone likes to shit on one specific season's finale and that happens to be Australian Outback, which, as we all know, had 42 days. So I understand that 39. We are programmed to like 39. I like 39. I am fine with 26, but on the opposite end of things, the season that they went overboard, we got what a lot of people consider to be the worst finale. Whether that final tribal council was fine, whatever.
Yeah,
But it just drags forever. And I do feel like the pace of the 26-day season, Jeff's not kidding when he says, you have to hit the ground running. And I feel like everyone is they're casting more fans now, and with that you get more people that want to play. And in 26 days, you make them play as hard as possible. And the winner, whatever winner happens at the end, they played a faster version of the game where they couldn't just sit back and, play 100% social game, because that's not going to work anymore. You can play a 90% social game, but you have to have some strategy there to eventually get you over the top. So I not say I prefer 26 days, but I appreciate what it is doing for the game, and I am excited to see what it does for the game as the seasons move forward.
Yeah, I think the 39 is a bit arbitrary at the end of the day. They could have given us 26 in season 1, and it's like, really, what's the difference? I don't think it's a huge deal. Try to wrap my head around that mentality, but
yeah, I just feel like from like a TV point of view too, like the end product we see on the screen is like basically the same thing. Like I don't notice, the 39 days versus 26 days, other than like the little chyron at the bottom saying what day it is. So
it's not like it's fewer episodes.
Right. Yeah.
And the cast is still like fatigued, and you get all the Survivor stuff of like they're hungry and
Jonathan's hungry.
Yeah, Jonathan's hungry. So
yeah,
it's not a big
cat's
deal for
name?
me. That's Rufus. Sorry, he's
that's okay.
He's excited for Survivor to come back. So
nice. What's his winner pick?
Who would he pick? Let's see.
Anyone wearing a cat shirt?
He likes Cody. He likes Cody.
Oh, okay.
The guy with living. Yeah, the guy with living tattooed on his butt.
What does he have on his butt?
He has living tattooed on his butt.
Oh, that's the name of the premiere. That's where they get it from.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Okay.
Just living. That's it.
Just living. Yeah.
Just living.
Oh, is it just living, or is it?
It's living.
Livin.
First boot confirmed.
It could be.
Okay, I just want to appreciate that the producers made that the premiere episode title. There's some humor in that. It's subtle,
It's
but I
really
appreciate.
funny. Yeah.
It's they haven't lost their touch.
Yeah. So yeah, like you were saying, the Jeff just did an interview, I think, with Entertainment Weekly like a week ago, and he basically said 26 days is here to stay. I think the only other thing he confirmed, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only thing he confirmed is that the Hourglass Twist is for sure done forever.
Also, do or die, I think.
Yeah, and do or die.
And do or die. Oh, okay.
Which is, in my opinion, even better.
Yeah.
Two things everybody hates.
I would rather get rid of do or die, personally, if I had to pick this or that. I don't know if that's popular.
Yeah.
You just think it has more consequences?
I think that stripping away the vote at the end of an episode is really lame. I personally think that you shouldn't be completely removed due to randomness, which is what it is. At the end of the day, sure, you can maximize your odds, but if they both maximize their odds, we'd have lost both. Who was it? They both survived, Lindsay and
Deshaun.
So don't love that. I don't think we need more randomness in Survivor than there already is. I mean,
Survivor
the Hourglass
really lucked into the fact that both of them did go home.
Right. And I feel like, the Hourglass is not as random. It's a little unfair at times. And yeah, I don't like people losing immunity for arbitrary reasons, just for the hell of it. But I like that there's still a vote. There's a lot of time they can strategize. This is really I still don't like it. I still would take neither. But if I had to pick, I would get rid of do or die, personally.
Yeah.
Well, and I believe they said Shot in the Dark is coming back, which I personally like. I like that twist. I think it has yet to fulfill its potential. I know there's some Shot in the Dark haters out there, but I'm saying give it time. If after this cycle, if it hasn't paid off, maybe we can ditch it. But I'm digging the Shot in the Dark. I really want it to actually work one of these days.
Yeah, it's hard to form a full opinion on it when we haven't actually seen it like change the outcome of a vote. But yeah, I agree. I'm cool with at least letting it stick around for another, you know, season or two and seeing where we go as we're just getting past the halfway mark. So 30 minutes till the finale episode. But Drew,
I can
Gideon,
taste it. I can
Yeah.
taste it. I can taste the premiere. I'm excited. 43.
It's a good number. Drew, Gideon, do you have any thoughts on Hourglass, Do or Die? Drew, you were a big fan of Hourglass, right?
No. Well, no, I wasn't. I do agree that Do or Die is probably worse. Mainly because of how they, like I said earlier, how they framed the Hourglass Twist this time around. If they did that, if they were to have brought that back this season, I would have still hated it, but it would be like, all right, cool. At least they have learned from the 41 mistake. Do or Die, like everyone has said, it just totally removes any type of vote from the situation. And, fair, not fair, I try not to go down that road. But with this, you kind of have to, because it isn't fair. It's not fair. All these social and strategic bonds you're making with people, all for it to be left up to something that has nothing to do with it.
Right.
I'm excited that they added an extra caveat to the beware advantage for the merge. So, I'm hoping that they bring that back. Obviously, I'm hoping they don't bring back the stupid phrases, but what have you. I do love Do or Die, not Do or Die.
Shot in the Dark.
Shot in the Dark. Mainly because in an org that I played, I had to use it to save myself from being voted out, and it worked. So I'm a big fan of that. So a lot of the twists that they've introduced in 41 and 42, like everyone keeps saying, they're kind of just throwing everything at the wall, see what sticks and what doesn't. But I feel like most of them have been fails. Not Medallion of Power fail, but like adjacent almost. And I'm excited to see the one big twist that they're bringing this season with the box and the fake idol and the idol. I haven't really looked into what exactly that all is about yet, but I'm excited for that.
Yeah, the other interesting thing with Shot in the Dark is the cast on 41 and 42 came into that season having never heard of it,
Right.
and didn't kind of know how to strategize around it, which I still don't think they quite will know how to strategize and work around it until we actually see it like have a big impact on a vote or potentially of the whole trajectory of the season. But now the season 43 cast in theory would have watched, assuming they were fans, most of them would have watched season 41 and 42, so have maybe thought of some way of working around it or utilizing it in a new way. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing where they take it for 43.
Yeah, 43 will probably still be a guinea pig season like 41 and 42. That we haven't seen the Shot in the Dark like fully play out, and statistically, with how many times it's been played, surely it's going to go off this season, knock on wood. But, who knows about that. But, we should see a lot more, game theory and stuff being played out and seeing, how things will work out with things like the Shot in the Dark and some possible new twists that are sure to come, because why not? It's 43. Something will probably happen. But I'm along for the ride.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, because like it's kind of tough to base your opinion off of specific advantages, because it's not just about the advantage itself, it's also about how that particular cast utilizes it. So like sometimes advantages might come across as bad in one season, but then like the way a cast works around it in a different season is like, oh, which we kind of saw a little bit with the phrases, which I'm not a big fan of, but like Mike eventually he did, but not saying it for a couple episodes like added a new element to it that I think made it a little bit better than in 41, at least in my opinion. So at the end of the day, I do feel like an advantage is only as entertaining as the cast that's presented along with it utilizes it. But we'll see. So that's one of the things I'm the most excited for 43.
Well, and Adam, you also remember, I think also in the interview he brings up that he was taken out of context when he said that he was never bringing back people from the previous 40 seasons.
Uh-oh.
And that he would love to have a lot of those folks back. So if we'll talk afterwards, but I'm thinking that a returning season is happening within the next 3 to 4 seasons. If everyone
probably 46.
Okay,
I'm thinking.
Pretty knows what I'm assuming. Pretty knows what I'm talking about. Then we'll talk.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing's confirmed as far as I know, but you never know. Survivor loves their returning player seasons, and it will have been at least 4 seasons now, I'm guessing, because 44 is newbies, I believe. So we're going to have like 4 straight newbie seasons, which is quite uncommon. Survivor usually likes to pump out at least 1 returning player season every 4 or 5 seasons.
And like also like 40 was a returning season, but it was only winners. So like all the people from 39 still haven't had the opportunity to return.
Or to be that's true. I mean, 38
except for
had
the
4,
challenge.
But like 38 pulled from like they didn't pull from 37, they didn't pull from 36, they didn't pull from 35. They brought 4 players back, but they were from like the early 30s, so I'm kind of like the late 30s have a really strong cast. I think, people often think of they have a lot of bloated casts. I tend to feel like there's a lot of people in the cast, but they also have a lot of really strong all-stars on those later 530 seasons out there. So I do hope we get a handful of them coming back, as well as 41 and 42. But
who do you guys think is not who you'd like to see, but who do you think is most likely from 42 to come back? I know, Drew, I know your answer. Jonathan? Oh, you're muted, but
oh, I didn't know if you would actually wanted me to answer the question because you already answered. I want a lot of people to come back from 42. The one person that I don't want to come back is the person that will come back first, and that is Jonathan. Jonathan will be back. They will hype him up as, oh, Jonathan was so amazing at all these challenges, and he's just a great player. He's a robbed king. And it's like, he's not. He's Joe. He's Joe. He's Joe. So, besides Jonathan, I think that they will probably bring back Omer at some point. They'll probably bring back Tori, I think, at some point. Drea, maybe. Marianne, potentially. Mike Turner, potentially. But it's Jonathan and then everyone else. And that's not what I want. But that's how it's had to be.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably have 17 other people too, so maybe he'll be first boot. I could easily see them pulling together a strong cast, a returning player cast, with the past 5 or 6 new player seasons. But I think we'll probably get a couple more seasons under the belt, and maybe we'll do new school versus newer school Survivor.
30s versus 40s.
Yeah.
That could be cool. I feel like if I had to pick one who I think is the most likely, it'd probably, I would be very surprised if Marianne didn't return. And I'm not just saying that for a winter season. Obviously, Survivor likes to bring back its winners just as much as its fan favorites. And I feel like she's in the category of both, and also in the category of someone who I feel like she would play 1,000 times if they asked her, unless she said otherwise. I didn't listen to the full 6-hour interview. So unless she mentioned something contradictory, but if I didn't pick her, I'd maybe say Omer. If I had to pick one, most likely.
I think Drea is pretty likely too. I think production really liked her, and she got a pretty huge edit. So I think she's definitely on the board. Mike, I could see Tori as well. So a lot of returning potential on this cast. I could see like almost half of them coming back.
Yeah. I remember there was like one like season theme that I feel like has gone around like a dream season for a while on like Survivor Reddit and Twitter that will probably never ever happen. But there was this idea I've heard before of bringing back just every member from an entire cast and just having them replay with like either the same tribes or different tribes. Probably will never happen, but I feel like this wouldn't be a terrible season just to see them all back, especially because like if you've been watching on social media, there's a lot of people from this cast in particular that didn't get a chance to play with each other or didn't get a chance to play with each other long, or were kind of just thrown into opposing alliances, that have since become really close since the season has ended. Like, who am I thinking of?
Chanel and High.
Chanel and High have seemed like they become pretty much best friends, and they really didn't get a chance to work with each other. I know Romeo and I think Lydia maybe have hung out a good bit too that I've seen, but don't think it would ever happen. I'm just saying if there was ever a season that I could think of in recent memory, that and maybe David and Goliath would be two good seasons. But
yeah, we could finally get that Jackson Fox domination.
Yeah. We deserve it, you know. But anything else you guys are like excited for 43? I know, like, not.
Oh, we lost Adam.
Nope.
Oh, Adam.
Well,
Adam.
Oh no.
Earth,
no.
Earth, Adam. There you
Yeah,
go.
Adam,
You froze Adam.
Back? Am I back?
No,
Yeah.
he's muted.
Sort of back. A bit of a lag.
What?
I am back.
Gideon,
Okay.
do you have-
Yeah,
are
I
you
was just
excited
saying,
for
is there anything you guys are excited for?
I don't know. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
What? The monster? The monster's dead. We killed him.
No,
last season.
you're the monster was Jeff's mullet. No, it's just like I don't know with this new cast. I don't know. Maybe it's just because now we've had 2 seasons under a belt. But I don't know. Like I'm a very like vibes person. I'm like oh, who am I vibing with?
You
You
are
know?
Gen Z.
I don't know, and like I'm not really vibing with a lot of people of the new cast. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's just my own weirdness, but I don't know. I'm scared. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a great season, but I don't know. With 42, I was like, oh, this nice cast. With 41, I was wrong. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great cast, but you know, who knows?
I feel like it's correct me if I'm wrong, but like this feels like a really young cast compared
Who's
to
the
normal.
oldest
Just like
person? The oldest person is that guy with the beard. What's his name? Him.
Gabler. 52.
Gabler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have
there's
3
only-
people above 40. Yeah, Luke.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
young cast. It's a very white collar cast too. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 project managers on this cast. I mean, like, okay.
Maybe that's
I
one of the
don't know.
tribe divisions,
Yeah.
the project managers.
It's actually white collar, blue collar, no collar. We just don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah, the cast doesn't inspire me a bunch, but I'm excited to be proven wrong.
Yes.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully
Have
they
we
are.
ever-
'Cause the last time we had a cast this young was Ghost Island. So
Have we ever? Oh, that's not a good sign. Have we ever had
no.
anyone from Hawaii before? Do we know? Because it says there's 2 people who's currently residing in Hawaii.
That's Adam's field.
Cody and Gio.
Well, Russell Hance is from Honolulu. I don't know if you guys.
Russell? Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, Russell's a native.
Yeah, right. Native Texan boy.
Yeah. No, I feel nothing's ringing in my head for Hawaii, but I know
Okay.
there has to be because I remember when we got what's his name, the ranch guy from 41, whatever his name was,
Brad?
Brad. Yeah. I remember he was like, he's from Wyoming, and it was like he said, now that I'm from Wyoming, we now have someone from every state.
Oh, okay.
But but maybe he said every continental state.
We've had Alaska.
I hope he said
Pretty
that.
I remember that.
Have we had Alaska?
yeah, Brad runs the Survivor wiki. He's
Yeah.
Oh no.
So I feel like there has been someone from Hawaii. I just can't think of it now. Like,
Okay.
My prediction for this 43
Guess
cast
they're
is that I think there's going to be a lot of drama. Like I think it will be a very drama-filled season. I think people will butt heads. I think there will be bad blood. That's what I'm predicting. It seems like from what I've seen in interviews, that it's those kind of people. I'm a theater kid. I'm in the arts. I know drama, and I feel like I'm getting it from these guys.
A lot of these people are really out for blood too. Like
Yes.
they seem to want to play really hard, but not in the way that like 42 did, where you get kind of a, you shake hands with everyone when you get voted out and everyone's a big happy family. I think these people really want to like backstab and play a meaner game. So
Yeah.
I guess jury's out on if that'll be as fun, but yeah, they really want to play tough.
Yeah.
And that comes with the territory of the super fan. Like what I was talking about earlier with 26 days and all that. I think when you put a group of super fans out there, you are either going to get what you get in 42, where everyone, they're hugs and dapping each other up. Good move, you got me. See you later. But as we've heard, things are not as hunky dory as they were portrayed on TV. And I feel like what's going to happen in 43 is we're going to get the opposite end of that, where people are playing hard and they are, they're trying to do all the stuff, but it's not going to be hunky dory when the person gets voted out. They're going to be very pissed off, not because, it is because they got voted out, but it's not going to be bitter. It's just going to be, I just lost and I don't know how to handle it because I was putting everything I have into this game, which is something that we don't see often. Usually when people are getting pissed off, it's because they got voted off and that's it. I feel like with this season, it's going to be, I'm pissed off because I put all this in and I got caught with my pants down, or they got me and now I'm upset more with myself, but I have to think about that when I'm alone. But so I do agree with that. I do feel like everyone's going to play hard, but it's going to be very different from 42 in that aspect.
When we kind of got that same tone in 41 that I'm thinking is going to happen in 43, where a lot of the votes were like taken pretty personally, especially, I mean, everything that happened with Shannon Ricard did not go down well. So yeah, I think that's part of also the reason why 41 was not as received as well. I mean, aside from all the twists, is that it sometimes wasn't fun to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If it's uncomfortable for the survivor castaways, then it's usually uncomfortable for us too, because we're like, okay.
Well, we are
lagging.
Peridiam, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
12 minutes out.
Still dipping out. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say 12 minutes out. Maybe we can switch over to our winner picks if we have them. Maybe if you have like a fan favorite pick too. I'm going to say Owen for my fan favorite pick.
Yeah, I feel like Owen's like the
patron.
Yeah.
Almost
he had
got
already
casted
gone
on
through
David
casting.
Goliath.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Mariah and Mike Gabler both have like big fan favorite potential. Mariah kind of has that like really happy, like big boisterous Marianne energy. Gabler has that more like I don't know, he's given me Ben a little bit. So in terms of like the casual audience or like the Facebook crowd, I think those two are going to be really big hits.
Not the Facebook crowd. Oh gosh.
Well,
that's the reason I deleted Facebook.
The moms are coming, man. The moms are coming.
We're gonna have Mike Gabler stands in a few weeks. Mark my words.
I don't understand why everyone hates Mike Gabler. He's just saying how we all feel. Is he?
Well said.
Yep, those are already being drafted right now.
They already got those in the drafts. They're already making edits for Mike.
Yeah, I mean, my winner
already...
pick, I would have to say, is also Owen. He seems really well-rounded. I mean, obviously, he feels like an easy pick, but so far, from what I've seen, I like what I've seen from him. He's also from my hometown, which is unusual. I don't see that very often. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area.
Wait, did I not know this? I'm from Maryland. I grew up in Maryland.
Did you? Okay. Yeah. Where in Maryland, by any chance?
Howard County.
Okay. I grew up in Montgomery County. not too far. So
Basically
like,
brothers.
yeah, so like not too far. I also lived a little bit in DC. But to see him, I did also live for a time in Bethesda, and we went to the same high school. I graduated the year that he began. I didn't realize this until I just
Nice.
looked up his bio. I was like, oh, I looked up his LinkedIn. I'm like, did this guy go? He seems like, because he worked, I know if he's watching right now, I know where he used to work because I've been to it. Like he used to work at Georgetown Cupcakes. I've been to Georgetown Cupcakes. Now, I don't know if there's one in literal Georgetown, but there is one in Bethesda. I've been to that one. I think they actually closed recently. But either way, great cupcakes, best in the whole town. And yeah, it's interesting to see. I'm like, oh my God, he went to the same high school as me. Like he's a Viking. He knows what we're talking. He probably knows some of the same teachers. So there's that. So I'm gonna pick Owen.
Yeah.
Also,
Shout
his
out
last name is
to,
Knight. That's a cool last name.
That is a cool last name.
Shout out to Georgetown Cupcake, the sponsor of this Kickoff special.
The official sponsor of
They make good cupcakes.
You integrated that ad so well, Peridiam.
Thank you.
They better be paying you good for that one. Dude.
Wait for it to show up on the
Ironically
season.
enough, who's up?
Drew, who's
Okay, I'll
your
go.
winner pick?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So ironically enough, in my notes, the very first thing I have is I like Owen. He's from the crib and works at a college. Seems like a super fan. He describes himself as a super duper fan. But I also like Ellie. Ellie? Is it Ellie? We're gonna go with Ellie.
Ellie.
Clinical
Ellie, yeah.
psychologist. Everyone knows me. I love when it comes home. For the people that watch my show, they know what that means. But I'm going to try to stray away from that this time, mainly because one of them is anti-vax and the other one likes Russell. So I'm going to go with Ellie. Ellie's going to be my winner pick for the season. I really want Owen to do well. I feel like Owen will get a lot of screen time. I feel like Owen might even end up being the internet's favorite person. But I feel like Owen probably around, the last person I remember being like this beloved by everyone before this was probably Christian. And Christian went at 7th. I feel like Owen might go around 6 or 7.
Was Christian big preseason? Like a big pick preseason though? I don't know.
Everyone loves Owen online.
America loves the nerds. Everybody always loves.
Also, the David vs. Goliath cast has shouted him out a lot. So I feel like everyone has kind of latched onto that, and he just he looks like a good character. We're bringing in if we're bringing in the looks, it looks like everyone wants to vote for him because of that. But I do feel like 6 or 7 for him. I'm going with Ellie. Ellie is my winner. I can't wait for her to go out like Abraham did in the premiere episode. But
You just cursed her.
I know.
It's the Coach Drew curse.
Yeah. Luke, have you said your winner pick?
I had Janine as mine. Yeah, I just think like Marianne and Erica have both proved that we all know the social game is king, but even more so now in this new era. And to me, Janine seemed like the most socially aware of, she's extremely charming. She seems to know how she's going to be perceived. So I understand she's probably the smallest person on this cast. So I just think if she can survive those early, yeah, true. If she can survive those early rounds where they might just want to default pick you're the smallest person, so challenge strength, let's get rid of you. I think she's gonna do really well. So she's my winner pick. So yeah, I think hoping she'll do well and not go first.
Dang, you're all wrong.
My I had Owen for fan favorite pick. If I had to do my winner, I was kind of liking Jesse, and I think that was just because he just from seeing him on his Instagram and stuff, he just kind of gives off that winner vibe. I mean, so did Ricard, and obviously he didn't win, and so did Chanel, and obviously she didn't win, but he has a good story. Seems like a personable guy, so I'll put my money on Jesse. But Gideon, why don't you round us out?
Every season, I've been intentionally wrong. but
Intensely.
this time it changes because Dwight will win everything and be the fan favorite. I'm calling it, okay? I'm calling it. Dwight takes the W.
You're going young.
Okay.
Second youngest.
I know I'm going young.
Yeah, what
but,
do you like about Dwight?
Well, for one, his name is Dwight, and I love The Office, and that's
You're not a Mets fan?
Yep.
It's a deep cut for you, Gideon. I know you're like 12, so I does everyone understand that reference?
No, I
Dwight
don't know.
Gooden. Okay, never mind.
Oh, I know Dwight Gooden. Yep, I know that.
Dwight is like
young.
pulling out his hair at you, Gideon, right now. His pet peeve is someone making a reference to The Office within 2 seconds of learning my name.
Well,
Oh.
I don't care. I
That's
really
awesome.
see. Look, that's one reason I like Dwight. Right? He predicted what I would think about him, just like he will predict what people are going to do in the game. You know, before I would be scared of young folks, sure, but I think Marianne broke down my barriers. You know, Marianne was young too, but we saw her play a great social game, and you know, at the end of the day, even with all these bells and whistles, advantages, blah 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 blah, at the end of the day, social game always reigns supreme, and if Dwight can play a good social game, he's in there. You know, seems like he's pretty aware. I mean, Dwight just spoke through you. He's that aware. So
Yeah.
yep.
Well, we're getting pretty close to the premiere. We only got 3 minutes, so maybe everyone could, in short, if you don't mind, say how you're gonna cover season 43 on individual channels.
Oh yeah, you lag there.
How we're gonna cover the season on our channels. Gideon, you want to start us off?
Oh well, you know, the bus will be doing recaps. Adam, I think we're doing it day after. Pretty sure. I don't know, because Adam's a director and going to be filming, so some of that might not be. But yeah, we'll be doing recaps, and then after the season, hopefully, CBS permitting and Lord willing, we'll be able to do interviews for once in my life. That'd be freaking fantastic to be allowed to do that. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing. What will you be doing, Drew?
Me and Emily will
just
be back
if everyone could say how are you going
Keep going, Adam.
Drew, Adam is 2 minutes behind us right now. He doesn't even know it.
We already know the winner of 43, Adam. It's been that long.
It was
me and
Dwight,
Emily
actually.
will be doing hot takes once a week. Me and Emily will be spending time together on Wednesday for the premiere, so we probably will do it live at the same spot. But we'll be doing hot takes, mainly talking about one or two specific topics that happened during an episode and giving our opinions on it. I'm also going to do a new rankings video for myself, 42, after doing 42 and 42. That should be coming out soon. Spoiler alert, Edge of Extinction is a lot higher than people are going to want it to be, but fuck you, it's a good season. And I'm excited to see what Peridiam and Idle Out are also doing.
I'm just back to my regularly scheduled content. Might have a few 43 related surprises, but otherwise it's just the same kind of stuff I've been doing. So
yeah, if it works, don't break it. Yeah, same thing. New videos every Wednesday, and again, if something randomly comes up, I'll jump into it. Maybe I've considered the idea of doing some smaller videos in between. I did it for BB24, just like smaller 8-minute videos or so that aren't as intensive. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting back into Survivor, and it's like full steam ahead. Survivor 43, 44. Looking forward to having like a good 8-9 months of just Survivor coverage. Big Brother's been fun, but I'm looking forward to getting back into it.
For sure.
Absolutely. I don't know. I got kicked out when Gideon was talking. If he didn't mention it, yes, Buffs will be back to doing day after recaps. Hopefully, have some guests on some of the episodes. You guys are welcome to join throughout the season if you'd like as well. Other than that, this was fun. I'm excited for 43. We'll have to, hopefully we can continue doing this, like I said, for every season till the last breath leaves our our bodies.
That's so grim.
That is
Again.
intense.
Yeah.
Very dark.
So deep.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. Enjoy 43. Leave a comment what you think of the episode. Be sure to like and subscribe. And go Jesse.
Go Owen.